Okay, our second part of 9 practical lessons. Now I share my screen. So we prepared this table with all factors, and now we need to put 1 on the crossing every factor. For example, factor 1 and factor 1, it is the same factor, so we put here bal 1. Factor 2 and factor 2, also it is the same, and we put here 1. So in every this position where we could find the same factors, we put 1. Please do it now. Put this 1 on every this position. We have 6 such position because we have 6 factors. And 1 because it is the same factor are equivalent. So we put 1, score 1. Now we need to understand what we need to calculate that put here this different score on this position. First of all, we need to find difference between factor 1 and factor 1. It is the same. We put 1, score 1. Now we need to find what is the difference between factor 1 and factor 2. We used weights from our table 2.2, weight for our factor 1 and weight for our factor 2, divided this weight one by one and find meaning. This meaning we find in this table E.1, for example, from 1.1 to 1.2, and we have score with the line because we find the difference between factor 1 and factor 2. Score first we put on the line, reverse evaluation we put on the column in the same factor 1 and factor 2. So now we try to do it. For example, for your variant, if you want, we could to find table 2.2 with this weights of every factors. Could only example, for example, for first variant, because it is useful and simple to find this meaning now. For example, product price, it is our factor 1, has weight 0.40. Factor 2, it is product quality. For every variant is the same factors, first and second, and the weight of this factor is 0.25. So now we need to use this formula. Now I show this formula. 2.2, we used this formula for all this table on the meaning when we find difference between factors. So we could write under the table, for example, for our calculation W or V with index because we find difference between first factor and second factor. So we could write V or 1, 2. 1, 2. We could use 1 T, 2. Is equal to, and find weight of your first factor divided on weight of your second factor. Now I open this table. For example, for first variant, it will be 0.40 divided on 0.25. You find meaning for your variant. Calculated it, leave 2 meaning after point, it's okay. 2 points after comma. Okay, find it. Okay. After finding this meaning, we need to find it in the table. Table E.1. Please find this meaning from 2. From 2, this your position, for example, you find 2.3. You find this diapason from 2.1 to 2.5 and find that it will be significant advantage, for example, and into the line we put score 5 into the column, we put reverse evaluation. It is 0.20. That is this example. Here in our table 2, you find your meaning, please. Here in our table, we have score 9 in the line because first factor to second factor, it is absolute advantage. And into the column, we put opposite score 0.11 in our example. You find for your variant this meaning. Okay, please find and write it into your table. Okay, we continue. So now we need to calculate the difference between first factor and third factor. So we need to find such difference between every factor. First factor we need to find for every other factors and continue. So we find difference between first and second factor, now between first and third factor. We also write under our table V 1 free because we find difference between first and third factor. V1 free is equal to, and find formula. We need to find weight of first factor divided on weight of third factor. For example, for first variant, if we use this example, weight of first factor is 0.40. Weight of third factor, it is 0.05. So we need divided 0.40 divided on 0.05 and find this meaning. Please do it for your variant, for your meaning.
No, I'm H variant and I didn't have. I
Oh,
don't have.
yes, your third factor, sorry. Your third factor, so 0.30 for H variant, it is the weight of your first factor, and your third factor, it is factor number 4. For you, it is 0.05. So every variant has 6 factors, so it is your third, your fourth, fifth, and sixth. Okay, find this meaning. And we come back to the table E.1 and find this difference. And also score we write into line and reference evaluation to column. In our example, first and third factor, it will be score 7. It is obvious advantage. And we write 7 here and 0.14 in the column, first and third factor. Yeah. Okay, right for your variant. Okay. Continue. So we need to find difference between first and fourth factor now.
I have a question.
Okay.
If I calculated and have
Okay.
6, I choose absolute advantages and
Yes. Yes.
okay.
Yes. All what more than 5.1, it is absolute advantage. So write 9 in the line and 0.11 in the column. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
Yes. Okay. So now we find wages for first and for our false factor. I open this table for you. For each variance, it will be 0.30 and your false factor 0.15. It is supply disruption, factor number 5. So we've calculated it and find meaning in this table E.1. Okay. Also write the score and reverse evaluation, and we continue to find wages for first factor and for fifth factor. I open this table. Okay, for each variance it will be 0.30. We divide it on fifth factor, each, the same, 0.15. So the same as in previous calculation, and write your meaning. And last, each first factor and your last sixth factor, you need to calculate 0.30 divided on 0.05. You already calculated it when you find difference between first and false factor, your false factor. Okay. And I open this table for checking. So now we put in every position our first line from factor 1 to factor 6, only this part, and our second column from factor 1 to factor 6. So we put everything here. Now we need to find difference between second factor and other factors, but difference between second and first we already find. Difference between second and second we already find that it is the same. We put here 1, score 1. So we need to find difference between second and third factors. So please find your wage second and third factor and find this difference. Now I open table. So for each variance second factor, it is 0.30 wages. It is second and here second factor. 0.30 we divided on wage of our third factor 0.05. You now used this meaning, so you could check here in our table and put on the line second and third factor score here and first and second and third factor here meaning. Be carefully because now we work with third line and third column. It is continue to put meaning in our table. Okay. Now we need to find different second and false factor. Now I opened this value, wages. For each variant, second factor 0.30 and false factor 0.15. Divided it, find this difference. Okay, and find score and reverse evaluation.
Uh, we calculated third line and fourth column.
No. Now for first factor, we choose with everyone. It is third line here. And first, second factor with other, it is third column.
Mm.
So we work now with the second factor by line and by column. Maybe it will be. So we put here score in third line, and in third column we put opposite score. Okay, already finished time of our lessons. Maybe we continue today a little bit later. I stopped sharing and stopped our record.